Hi guys, Urban EDC here. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I like to do knife reviews and try to give you some of my thoughts on what I think about knives in urban environments. But as I am a student, I don't really have the disposable income necessary to purchase new knives and review them all the time. It's just not a very realistic possibility for me. But while I save up money to get more knives, I thought I'd do a couple reviews and give you a couple takes on what I think about different types of gear that you guys might be using in your daily lives and things that I think might be useful for you. So let's get started. So in front of you, let's just imagine that this is a Gore-Tex jacket. And the purposes of this video is to talk about different types of outer layers that you guys might be using in your daily life situations, particularly in the urban environment, in the city. So let's take a look at this Gore-Tex jacket. For those of you that don't really know what Gore-Tex is a very heavily insulated jacket. It's rainproof, waterproof basically, windproof, and it's very well insulated, so it's very, very warm. Okay, and those are the real big benefits of a jacket like this. And so depending on the climate that you live in will pretty much determine what type of outer layer you're going to be looking at. So I live in Southern California, and our weather here is very nice. It's 75 degrees Fahrenheit most of the time, sunny. We rarely see rain. If we do, it's going to be during the winter months, maybe just a couple of weeks every month, but not too much rain, and it's pretty much warm all the time. At night, it can get cooler because of the desert areas, so we have pretty hot days, and then during the nights it cools down quite a bit. So if we're going to be looking at this Gore-Tex jacket here, I think this is a little overkill for my climate. Depending on where you live, this might be the perfect jacket for you. But like I said, this jacket, the benefits of it is that it's waterproof, it's windproof, and it's very well insulated. So it's thick and heavy. And so that's kind of some of the benefits of having a jacket like this. What about some of the negative points though? Well, it is heavy, and it's pretty thick. So the weight might be a concern for you if you're going to have to be lugging this around you all day, and having to carry such a heavy jacket like this might not be comfortable for you. The other main drawback that I see with Gore-Tex type jackets is while it is waterproof, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because as you're wearing the jacket and you start doing aerobic activities in it and you start to warm up, you're going to sweat. And as you sweat, it's going to get really humid and kind of muggy inside of your jacket. And the reason is because the Gore-Tex is not really breathable. And because it's not breathable, you're going to end up just as wet as if you didn't have this jacket on and you're just sitting in the rain, because it's not letting all that moisture escape out from the jacket. So here in Southern California, I pretty much just keep this jacket as an emergency jacket. If I were to have to, stand out in the rain for a really long time for some reason, or something like that, then I'd use this jacket. But for the most part, I don't really use this. So let's take a look at a different type of outer layer now. So here we have is a fleece layer. And fleece is really, really comfortable. It's really soft, and it keeps you pretty well insulated, and it's really comfortable to wear since it's so soft. And that's pretty much the benefits of having a layer like this. You can also buy some fleeces that have wind block layers, which means that on the inside they have a kind of like a windproof shield, and so that'll keep the wind from cutting into your jacket, cutting into your layer, and making you cold on the inside. But the downfalls of a fleece layer is that it's not really water repellent, and once it gets wet, while it will dry very quickly, you're still going to get wet if you had to wear this in a rain shower. But for everyday carry, this is very light, It doesn't weigh that much, and this is pretty good if you're not really going to be expecting much rain, and you don't really need something that's really going to keep you like heavily insulated like the Gore-Tex jacket. This is a good compromise. Okay, and finally, so what if you're looking for something that does the best of both worlds? You want something that's windproof, waterproof, but not necessarily as heavy as the Gore-Tex jacket, and you definitely need something that's more breathable, because you might get hot and you might be sweating a little bit, and you want something that wicks away that moisture. So now we come to the soft shell. And for those of you that don't know what soft shell is, the material is actually quite new. I think it's only been out for a couple years now. And what it is it combines the best worlds of both the fleece and the Gore-Tex outer layers. And what I mean by that is the material that they use is a blend of polyester and spandex. And while that might sound kind of strange, spandex, really? What it does is it actually it doesn't feel like spandex at all. What it feels like, the material, it feels like kind of like a wetsuit material, like neoprene. And it's very flexible. That's what the spandex allows it to be. It's very flexible. So for those of you that are into outdoor activities and just looking for a light layer, this would be pretty much perfect for you. So let's go over some of the pros and cons. So like I said before, it is waterproof, water repellent, and it is also windproof. And it also is coated on the inside with a fleece type layer, so it's actually pretty well insulated too. And it's also breathable, which is a major plus, so that's what makes it stand out from the Gore-Tex layer. And it's also relatively light. Not as light as the fleece, but definitely lighter than the Gore-Tex layer. So this is kind of a compromise in between those two types of materials. And so this is the soft shell. I will be doing a separate review video on this, so you can look out for that if you're interested. For the the urban environment, I think this is probably the perfect layer, especially if you're living in a climate similar to Southern California, or maybe even a little bit cooler climate. The reason is because it's a very light layer. It's easy to carry around with you, and if you are due for an unexpected rain shower, it is pretty much waterproof. It's not going to be completely waterproof like the Gore-Tex, but it will shed the water, and it also keeps you pretty well insulated, so you don't need to carry that extra fleece layer around with you and be wearing like multiple layers. You'd be probably fine with just a t-shirt and this. So for the urban environment, I think this is a real nice type of material to be looking into. The only cons that I can really see with this is that it's not 100% waterproof, and it's also quite expensive. The Gore-Tex is obviously the most expensive. Those can run around $300 or $400 or more. The fleece is probably the cheapest. You could probably get a decent fleece at REI for maybe like $40 and up. But this soft shell layer, these are pretty expensive too. This is going to cost you probably around $150 plus to get a soft shell layer like this. So that's some of the negatives and benefits of having a layer. And don't forget that it's also very breathable. So when you do sweat, the material actually allows the moisture to wick out, and so you won't be sitting in your sweat the entire time. So I hope this has introduced to you the soft shell layer, and I hope you guys find the review interesting, and hope you guys like it and enjoy.